Winds in the east, there's a mist coming in, like something is brewing and about to begin. Can't put my finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen all happened before. A father, a mother, a daughter, a son, the threads of their lives are all raveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying a kite. Chim, chimney, chim, chim, Cher-ee, chim, Cher-oo.
Hurry up, Jane, let's run! I can't do my lessons, I'm flying a kite.
And you can't make us, you're only our nanny.
You're gone.
Good morning, Bert.
Morning, Miss Lark. And how's little Willoughby today?
Oh, very well, thank you, Bert.
By Jove! Is that the beauteous Miss Lark I spy on the horizon?
Oh, Admiral. Willoughby?
Morning, Admiral.
Morning, Bert.
How's it looking?
Dark clouds forming there, number 17. A storm warning's overdue. Good day, Bert.
Of all London's byways, where I doff my cap, this one's the hardest to find on a map. Cherry Tree Lane, as sweet as a song, but the nannies who come here, they don't stay for long. Chim, chimney, chim, chim, Cher-ee, chim, Cher-oo.
Stuck with the children with no nanny in the house. Me, that's who.
I've said my say, Miss Brill, and that's all I'll say. I'm done with this house. Forever!
Well, good riddance then. And mind you don't stumble on your way out. Katie Nana, where are you going? Katie Nana! Katie Nana's gone, and is it any wonder, driven half demented by your children's pranks? Do you really think I made another blunder? What on earth am I to say to Mr. Banks? George, dear, I'm feeling so bereft, dear. Another nanny's left, dear. Every nanny goes, we're unlucky, I suppose. We are never going to find the perfect nanny.
Nonsense! Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coat! The simple truth is you've engaged 6 nannies in the last 4 months, each of them an unqualified disaster. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a paragon who suffers no fool. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane. So take control of situations, show authority when interviewing staff. You know your role, they know their stations. Efficiency and forethought cut the jobs in half. Briefcase.
I always thought Katie Nana would be firm with the children. She always looked so cross.
Winifred, never confuse efficiency with a liver complaint. Umbrella.
If only we could find someone like your old nanny.
Oh, I'm afraid that won't be possible, my dear. Very few men alive could manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. Besides, we could never find someone of her caliber.
Precision and order, he wants nothing less. It's like an army barracks,
And we're in the mess.
no wonder the nannies are driven insane. We're living in a madhouse
On Cherry Tree Lane.
Now, Winifred, if you do want to please me...
You know I do, George.
Very well. Then place a statement in the Times saying that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
We'd better give them ours before they make another mistake.
I want to stress that when...
Father, what's
Yes?
that you're holding, dear?
We've written our own advertisement.
What on earth are you talking about when...
George, I think we should hear it.
Now, Winifred, none of your theatrics.
It won't hurt to listen.
Wanted a nanny for two adorable children.
Adorable. Well, that's debatable, I must say.
If you want this choice position, have a cheery disposition, rosy cheeks, no warts.
That's the part I put in.
Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty, very sweet and very pretty.
Of all the ridiculous
George, please.
Take us on outings, give us treats, sing songs, bring sweets. Never be cross or cruel, never feed us castor oil or gruel. Blech. Love us as a son and daughter, and never smell the barley water.
I put that bit in too.
If you won't scold and dominate us, we will never give you cause to hate us. We won't hide your spectacles so you can't see. Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea. Hurry, Nanny, many thanks, sincerely, Jane
And Michael,
Banks.
Now, that's quite enough Tommy rot for one morning. Now, will you please let me get to work?
they were only trying to help.
It's not going to help anybody to make me late. Now, where's my hat?
George, dear.
Hat!
Hat! I thought you put it down here.
Hat.
Hat. I'm sure a bowler hat can simply disappear.
You think they'll find a nanny who
Oh, there it is.
doesn't run away.
He's brushed you with boot polish.
Precision and order, that's all that I ask. The running of a household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain.
Whilst I remain the sovereign, mind you usually day when.
You remain the sovereign.
I shall be home at 6 o'clock sharp.
He remains a sovereign. All Cherry Tree
Yes?
I've come in answer to the advertisement.
Advertisement? What advertisement? We haven't placed anything. Not yet, anyway.
George and Winifred Banks live here, do they not?
Mr. and Mrs. Banks live here, yes.
And you are looking for a nanny?
Well, I suppose
Very
that...
well then, let's see. Plays games all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Michael, it's our advertisement.
Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. I hope there's no objection on that matter.
None at all.
I'm glad to hear it.
Well, take it up with Mrs. Banks. She handles all that side of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. Don't forget the references.
I make it a rule never to give references.
But I thought it was usual.
A very old-fashioned idea in my mind. The best people never require them.
Oh, I see. You will have every third Thursday evening off from 5 until 9.
The best people give every second Wednesday from 6 till 8, Mum, and that is what I shall take.
I see. Well, it's all settled then.
As long as I am satisfied, I'll see the children now, thank you.
Of course. You'll find that they're very nice children. Now, this is...
Mary Poppins. Jane, don't stare. And close your mouth, Michael, we are not a codfish. First foot forward. Split spot.
Mrs. Brill, we have a new nanny.
She passed her interview then.
Or I did.
I must say. Tidier than I was expecting. Who's responsible for that?
Mrs. Brill. I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making great use of that. If there's one thing I appreciate, it's a child whose word I can depend on. Who's he when he's at home?
That's Valentine. He's mine.
From the look on his face, I'm not sure he'd agree with you.
He's just a doll, and I don't want to play with him now.
Treat him like that, and he might not want to play with you. Now, first things first, I always say the proper place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
There's nothing in it. We better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky. Mary Poppins, how could you know what we wanted in a nanny when we made our list?
Your list? I'm not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
How did you come then? It was as if the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now stand over there. Just as I feared, a noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that up. A noisy, mischievous...
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untidy.
I don't believe you. Let me see.
By the time the wind has blown, the weather vane around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what the circumstance, for one thing I'm renowned. My character is spit, spot, spick, and span.
What about your measurements, Mary Poppins?
Practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say. Each virtually knows no bounds. Each trait is great and painfully sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Both prim and proper, but never too stern. Well educated, yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manner refined, and I wear shoes of the sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny nannies are hard to find. Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Run behold, I'm so practically perfect in every way. Well, those are my credentials. Perhaps you have a few questions of your own?
Not temperamental,
Never.
not grouchy or gruff.
Oh, the very thought.
Will you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss? Or have objections to playing with us?
Oh, I like games, but I choose them.
But that's not fair!
Some minor improvement may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you'll stay.
Each virtue virtuously knows no bounds. Each trait is great.
And patently sound.
Patently sound. That's what. Jane, be tidy. I'll tell my telescope thank you.
But that's not fair!
I'm practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be practically perfect.
Practically perfect.
You will be practically perfect in every way.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. I does what I likes, and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree. And it's all me own works from my own memory.
Oh, lummy, not these again.
Come on, Mr. Parkkeeper. It's just me pictures like it always is. There's no harm in them.
Well, I'll be the judge of that. This is my park, and I say you're interfering with the public railing. I want to remove this... just you watch it. That's all. Just you watch it.
Stop right where you are. I know that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins.
It's good to see you, Bert.
Well, I must say, you do look swell.
How does he know you? He can't know you. You've only just arrived.
I wasn't born 1 minute before I went into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
I've seen them running about, chasing a kite.
It isn't a real kite.
So what are you up to?
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called a walk in the park. Some game. I'd rather eat spinach.
Come on, Bert, you're due for a break. And you promised you'd take me out next time we met? Or have you forgotten?
Of course I ain't, Mary, but...
Oh dear, is that all you've got? Never mind, my treat. No one's charging for the trees in the sky, are they?
Mary Poppins, is he really coming with us?
And why shouldn't he?
Well, to start with, he's very dirty, isn't he? Father would never approve.
What's that?
you can't come with us. You're too dirty. We don't want to go to the stinky park anyway.
Oh, yes you do, because when you walk with Mary Poppins, you go to places you've never dreamed of. And if she says it's a game, you can be sure she's got something in mind.
That's a picture of the park, isn't it? That's not the park, not our park anyway. The trees are much brighter green and the sky is quite a different blue.
I think you'll find it's just as I've drawn it. All that it takes is a spark. Then something as plain as a park becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look on you, then you'll understand why it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Really?
When the day is grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright.
You talk nonsense, Bert.
Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the
I haven't the
dogs.
faintest idea what he's talking
When Mary
about.
holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You've enough brass for all of us.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Come on, you two.
Boring, just like other nannies thinking parks aren't good for us. It's just statues, ducks, and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss. Is she doing it to spite us? We could lose her for a lark. Perhaps it's all a plot. I'll tell you what, she seems so different, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park. What was that?
You're quite wrong, you know.
Who are you?
I'm Nelius. You surely know that. You've sat beneath me often enough. I waited half a century to take a walk in the park on a sunny day like this.
Ain't it a glorious day, bright as the morning in May?
I feel like I could fly.
Have you ever seen the grass so green, or a bluer sky?
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Better days I've never known.
You can ask the passing statuary.
Nothing's ever set in stone. Each man out with his dog will stand agog to see a statue take a gentle jog. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love.
It's a jolly holiday with you, Bert. Gentlemen like you are few. Though you're just a diamond in the rough, Bert. Underneath your blood is blue. You'd never think of pressing your advantage. Forbearance is the hallmark of your creed. And lady needn't fear when you are near. Your sweet gentility is crystal clear.
It's crystal clear.
Oh, it's a jolly holiday with you.
It's a jolly holiday, a jolly, jolly holiday with you. Mary!
You've only yourself to blame, Bert.
Let's go Santa, we are bound to make a mark. Looks like all of us were born to take a promenade in the park.
Mary Poppins, of course.
How do you know Mary Poppins?
She's an old friend of my father.
Your father? You're a statue. You can't have a father.
Well, if that's true, then how come I miss him so much?
Isn't he just one of the other statues?
No, he lives far away from here.
Oh, you must really miss him then.
Well, wouldn't you miss your father if you hardly ever saw him?
Well, I'll have to think about that.
Would you like to hear some rock jokes?
Rock jokes?
I'll start digging. What do you call a statue that doesn't go to school?
I don't know.
A skipping stone.
He's kind of funny.
Where do the statues like to sleep?
That's it. That's what it was.
What?
This plinth is half empty. The statue's gone.
Do you mean you've lost your marbles?
Oh, this is all your fault, ain't it? I knew we'd have trouble when you first showed up. Now I've got a statue missing. What? Oh, lummy. Ah!
Nelius, won't you play with us again?
Well, of course. I'm not going anywhere.
Goodbye, Nelius.
Goodbye.
Dear. Mary Poppins, will Nelius's father ever come to stay?
Anything can happen if you let it.
How long will you stay, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay until the wind changes. Now come along in.
Good night, Jane. Good night, Michael. Good night, Mary.
Good night, Bert.
The children want to say goodnight.
Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Father, we've had a fantastic day. We sang with the busker, danced with statues, and met Queen Victoria. You wouldn't have approved.
If you knew that, then why did you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite? A proper one?
Could you fly it?
You could always teach me.
Now, when would I have the time to do that?
Daddy, who is the father of Nelius?
Would you please let me get on? Good night.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites. And his beloved astronomy, of course.
I used to love astronomy at his age, but then my nanny, Miss Andrews, soon beat it out of me.
I suppose we do need a nanny, George. Is it out of the question to do without one?
Oh, don't be absurd. All the best people have nannies, so that the wives can do charity work and entertain. Which reminds me, how is your tea party coming along?
I'm not sure. It seems so odd to send out invitations to people who I hardly know.
But they're people you should know. Remember, by your friends shall ye be judged.
But that's the point. They're not my friends. Actually, I heard from Clemmy Bunting today. She's rehearsing a new play, and I thought that I might
How
ask
many
her...
times must I tell you? I wish you to sever all connection with that part of your life.
But George, I was an actress. Lots of people might find that interesting. They always talk as though I should be ashamed of it.
Well, it's not exactly something to be proud of. Oh, Winifred, dearest, I'm only thinking of you. I wish for people to admire you, to respect you.
I know, George, but sometimes it's hard.
It is not hard, it is your job to be Mrs. Banks.
And what's your job?
To pay for everything. What is it?
I was only going to kiss you.
Oh, all right. You're not going to tell Mary Poppins about this, are you?
I don't think so.
Very well. Just make sure she does things our way and not hers. What good are rules if you can bend them? We need a nanny who is disciplined and stern. With boys and girls, you don't befriend them. I fear that Mary Poppins has a lot to learn.
Being Mrs. Banks, it's easy to forget the way I felt that summer's day, the day that we first met. I have a comfy home, I have a simple life, I have a name which tells the world I'm someone else's wife. Being Mrs. Banks, what does that entail? Facing tests of character, I always seem to fail. And as for his best people, well, I'd like to say no thanks. They're not exactly my idea of being Mrs. Banks.
I still feel as if I'm dreaming.
So much
Fun in just one day when Mary holds your hand. You feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. I'm sure Neely is beaming. Let's hope she will stay. Good night, Nelius.
Let's hope she will
Precision and order.
Winds in the east, there's a mist coming in, like something is brewing and about to begin. Can't put my finger on what lies in store, but I feel what's to happen all happened before. Chim chimney, chim chim, cheree chim cheroo.
Morning, Bert. Swapping the decks today, I see.
Gotta keep the street shipshape, Admiral.
Tell me, how things aboard number 17? All plain sailing with Mary Poppins, I trust.
Ah, well, there's some rough weather on every voyage, Admiral.
Ah, Mrs. Locke. What those children need is a touch of the cat and an eye in the yard arm.
What those children need, Admiral, is a touch of happiness. Willoughby?
don't make the sandwiches too early. They'll get stale before the guests arrive.
Everything's under control, Mum.
What about the cake?
Cooling on the tray, waiting to be iced.
And you're sure you know how to ice it?
Quite sure. And in case you're wondering, I have not been mistaken by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
No?
No.
Well, I'll just go check up on the drawing room then.
I'd like to be helpful.
And I'd like to be rich, but the good Lord thought otherwise.
Mother wants you in the drawing room.
Well, she can't have me. I've got enough on my plate as it is.
She says you can tell Roberts and I what to do.
Does she indeed? Well, why don't I go smoke near a gasworks for good measure?
Please, Mrs. Brill, I don't mind, honest.
All right. I'll give you one task and one task only, and so help me, if you get this wrong, I will swing for you and sing as they pull the lever.
What is it, Miss Brill?
Put the icing tools next to the cake, and I'll need a bowl of hot water to warm them. I'll make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Icing tools, cake, hot water. I will make the icing as soon as I'm back.
Now, do you think you can manage that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. Once the cake's done, I've got the sandwiches next because Madame wants them fresh, so I can't start them until there's no time to finish them. I swear a slave in ancient Rome was on a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this house!
Well, don't just stand there, Roberts and I.
Right, no.
What are you looking for?
A bowl for the water.
Michael, why don't we make the icing?
Because we don't know how?
Don't be so feeble and get me the eggs. If Mrs. Brill can do it, then it can't be that hard.
Are there eggs in icing?
There are in mine.
I don't think Mrs. Brill will thank you.
Then she will be guilty of great ingratitude.
Is it supposed to look like this?
It doesn't look like that when Mrs. Brill does it.
Don't be impertinent and get me the cake.
Honestly, Miss Jane, I was only trying to be helpful. Ah!
What have you done? Roberts and I, should I call a doctor?
Oh, I don't think that's necessary, Mum.
How can you be so unkind when you know how important my party is? You deserve some very nasty medicine, just you wait till bedtime.
Oh, I wouldn't wait until then, Mum. Why don't you go upstairs and get changed? We'll clean up, won't we?
But we're not ill. I won't take it and you can't make me.
That has in so many things. Your information is faulty. Open.
It's strawberry ice.
Now you.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Now off we go. Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane?
I told you she was tricky.
Why can't Roberts and I do it when he wakes up? He is a servant anyways.
With an attitude like that, you'll get through a lot of help before you're very old. And besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap, the job's a game. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. A look, a spree, it's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. My point exactly. The honeybees that fetch the nectar from the flowers to the comb never tire of ever buzzing to and fro, because they take a little nip from every flower that they sip, and hence they find their task is not a grind. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
Poppins, you're a miracle worker. How'd you get them to do it?
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine?
Go down, medicine, go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
So, just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
The medicine go down.
Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In a most delightful way.
In a most delightful way. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In the most delightful
In the most delightful,
In the most delightful way.
come along, sweet spot.
Excuse me, Mum. Apparently these came in this morning and Robertson, I forgot to give them to you. Their apologies, Mum, from your guests. They're not coming, none of them.
Do you think we chose the wrong day?
No, Mum, I think you asked the wrong people.
In a most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, what are we doing today?
I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree? If he did, you must have put the idea in his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say. Me putting ideas into people's heads? Really?
Precision and order, causing a wheel, opening a ledger, closing a deal, prudent investment, financial sense, a perfect day of sunshine, on shillings and pence.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. Great men have dreams of power and position, and it's our job to back them to the hilt. For shrewd investment and advice, they'll pay our price, the bedrock on which banks are built. Banks, a word. I see Avon Hustler is coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good, good. Be sure it's the right one.
In every transaction, credit or debt, sheets are all the balance, targets are met.
Banks, what objections could you possibly have? My security is more than adequate, and Latin America is a booming market. What is the matter? Have you no courage?
Miss Von Hustler, what I fail to understand is, what exactly is your final product?
Money, of course.
Yes, money, but making money out of money, is that enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker? A man has dreams of building an empire, to have his name in many distant lands. And in the new world, I am told, will soon strike gold. Let's seize that chance with both our hands.
Assessing the market, limit the risk, little room for error, business is brisk.
There's a town of good people whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. You won't regret it. The factory could be running in weeks, expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks, I'd give it everything I've got. Believe me.
I do believe you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried, but there's just not the collateral.
What about my workforce? Decent men who want a better life. They're my collateral. My men have dreams to earn an honest living, a wife and kids, a home to call their own. If you'd invest in us today, it paves the way. I promise we'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook, but I really
Hello,
just
Daddy!
can't... What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see that I'm busy?
No, we're done here. And no man should be too busy for his own children. What are you here for, young man? Have you come for some money as well?
Hardly. What would he need it for?
Well, it's never too early to learn its value. Here.
I know the value of this. 6 pence.
No, that's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. Do good, and you may have good luck.
And what do we say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
Really, Mary Poppins, I am not without a sense of humor, but when
Aren't you, Daddy?
No, I am not. But when I was a boy, I would have never dared interrupt my father's work.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was. But my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way, and he would have been very annoyed if she hadn't.
What about your mother?
Well, I shouldn't think that I saw either of them more than once a week.
Didn't they
Mind?
mind?
They were glad to be rid of me.
But then who kissed you goodnight? Miss Andrew?
Certainly not. There were no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense. What's the matter?
Poor Daddy.
Poor? What do you mean poor? That made me the man I am today, eh, Mary Poppins?
Yes, I'm afraid it did.
That's quite enough. Now I've work to do and a great deal of it, if you'll excuse me.
Father, when you invest in the bank's money, what are you looking for? A good man or a good idea?
Well, I suppose I should say a good idea, but a good man is much rarer and much more valuable too.
Come along, children.
Mr. Von Hustler, I've considered your argument, and I'm afraid I cannot give you the loan.
So, you don't recognize a good idea?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You will regret this, Airbags.
A man with dreams that life hasn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. So, Mr. Northbrook, when can the factories open?
Oh, thank you, sir. You won't regret it.
She's not horrible in the least.
But she's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn to look past what you see? Each day to the steps of St. Paul, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls.
Come buy my bags full of crumbs. Come feed the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. The young chickens are hungry, their nests are so bare. All it takes is tuppence from you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead her birds fill the skies.
What are you doing?
I'm going to give him my 6pence.
What a waste!
That's a matter of opinion. Save your 6pence. All around the cathedral, the saints and apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can see them, you know they are smiling each time someone shows that she cares. Though her words are simple and few, listen, listen, she's calling to you.
Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Oh, gone.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
You don't say. Well, here she is now. You can tell her yourself.
Isn't that Miss Lockstall?
Don't interrupt when someone's barking. You were saying? Well, if she keeps getting away from you, perhaps you should put her on a lead.
Willoughby?
Here she comes now.
Willoughby, it's all right. Mummy's here. You know, sometimes you almost think he could talk.
But can that dog really talk?
Of course he can. Getting him to stop is the problem.
How do you learn to talk dog?
Master the grammar.
Practice when you can.
Avoid mongrels.
Far too much slang.
No, I can't stand here talking shop all day.
Talking shop? What a silly expression.
It's not silly in the least.
What can you buy in a talking shop?
Conversations, of course.
Well, I've never seen a talking shop.
Well, there is only one, and it belongs to Miss Corey.
Who's Miss Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey is older than anyone in the world. She talked to William before he went conquering, to Vlad before he went impaling, and to Alexander when he weren't so great.
Perhaps we should stop by her shop in the park.
But there isn't a shop in the park.
Remember, anything can happen if you let it.
That's it. I've run out of conversations.
Good day, Miss Corey.
Well, 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 if it isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks.
She knows us?
And how is poor little Georgie?
Who's Georgie?
Georgie Banks, your father. He used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in secret.
That can't have been the same George Banks. That would have been over 40 years ago, and no one can remember back that far.
Listen, dearie, I remember everything. I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread. I wonder if we have any left in the shop today. Annie, Fanny, look lively. Yes, Mother. There you are, gingerbread pieces with gingerbread stars. Georgie always saved his stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you?
I like an ounce of conversation.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm all out of conversations and well out of words too. There were a lot of chatterboxes in the shop today. But let me see what I have. I do have some letters and a little bit of back chat. An ounce, you say? That will be 15 letters.
Jane, you choose 7.
I have a D-R-U, G-C-L-N-I.
Those are no good. You can't make a conversation out of them.
Michael, you choose 7.
I got an A, F, E, S, T, O, and P.
And I'll choose an X. Now, what words can we make out of these letters?
Well, I see dog and cat.
Rotoplex, that's 9.
Lapita Ferris, that's 11. Nearly there.
Those don't count. You made them up.
And where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody has to make them up.
You know, you can't always use the same letter twice. Let's see. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
That's not a word.
Of course it's a word. Unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it'll prove to be a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to live through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle-I.
It can mean exactly what you want it to.
Diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle-I.
Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
Though if they'd heard this word, they might have used it once or twice.
Oh yes.
I'm sure Egyptian pharaohs would have busted in a jiff. Then every single pyramid would bear this hieroglyph. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say it and wild animals might not seem so ferocious.
Add some further flourishes, it's so co-co-cocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle-I.
Druids might have carved it on their mighty monoliths.
Oh yes.
The ancient Greeks, I'm certain, would have used it in their myths.
I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never heard a word like this.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
If you say it softly, the effect can be hypnosis.
Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis.
That.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-diddle-diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle-I, diddle-diddle-diddle-I.
You could always say it backwards, which so a codeli exitsalagar for the creepus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just sum it up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants and 16 vowels as well, and put them in an order which is very hard to spell.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
O-C-I-O-U-S.
Smarty pants.
S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F-R-A-G-I-L-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D. O-C-I-O-U-S. S-U-P-E-R-C-A-L-I-F-R-A-G-I-L-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D. O-C-I-O-U-S.
Here we go.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll
winds may blow, but who's to know exactly what it's bringing? Good news or bad, happy or sad, the pendulum keeps swinging.
Right. You are never to come near that heirloom, but no one else but me neither.
Heirloom.
And while I do this, stay totally immobile.
Immobile.
Do not move a muscle.
Muscle.
Do not breathe. Do you hear me?
I might as well be dead.
Don't give me any ideas.
A game is played, a change is made, but still the road is long. And though they might yet fly a kite, sometimes the wind's too strong.
George, what's happened? Are you ill?
No. Should I be?
Well, of course not. Only why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No, everything's all wrong.
My dear, what is it?
Well, if you must know, I refused some German chap a loan at the bank. It seems he went to our chief rivals, they gave him the money, now it's turned into a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
Can't they? That's exactly what they expect.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is
That is
something
quite loud enough. Now will you please go upstairs? I've had a long day. I come home to this and I need to... Where's my briefcase? Michael? Jane? Will you give me the briefcase? Really, must I put up with this? You're their mother. Can't you do something about it?
Well, I could try not shouting for a start.
And Mary Poppins, you're their nanny. You're supposed to be teaching these children manners, and look at them. They're two little savages.
George, you're tired. Mary Poppins, take the children upstairs, please. Mr. Banks is quite exhausted. Perhaps you could keep them occupied.
I hope you haven't forgotten tonight's my night out.
What?
Dear, I had forgotten. I don't suppose the best people would ask you to change your plans.
No, they wouldn't.
I thought not.
It's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and we're locked in the nursery. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him.
Jane, take that back this instant. I will not have you criticizing your father.
Why not? He criticizes you. Last week he said you're neither use nor ornament.
How dare you?
I heard him say it and so did you.
Mary Poppins, take the children upstairs, please. George,
What is it?
thought you might like to talk about it.
What would be the point?
Perhaps I could help. George, if you'd have troubles, I'd like to share them.
Don't worry, you will. Fine. The bank has suspended me without salary until they decide what to do with me.
Twists and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces had better change quick. 'Cause if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimney, chim chim, cher-ee, chim cheroo.
Michael, I know you don't want to go to bed, but you must come in.
It's not fair. You're going out and we're stuck up in the nursery.
You've plenty of toys to play with.
I don't want to play with them. They're boring.
They could say the same thing about you.
Why does Daddy get so cross?
Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Perhaps. But have you ever wondered who looks after the fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose.
Not the children.
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Sometimes families are upside down, for a while anyways.
Well, I don't want to live in an upside-down family. I wish I could run away.
Why don't you? Somebody might adopt you.
Then you'd miss me.
No, I wouldn't. I could have all your toys.
No, you could not.
Yes, I could, and I jolly well would.
Give that to me. Now look what you've done.
That's no way to treat a Valentine. What's he ever done to you?
He's a doll, silly. He couldn't do anything.
That's quite enough. Into bed immediately.
But we haven't had our milk.
Of no buts and no milk either. If you can't be good, you might as well be sorry. Oh, poor Valentine. Why don't you go in and get changed?
Well, I won't go to bed, and you can't make me.
That, as in so many things,
Your information
is faulty. Playing the game, taking your turn. Some children lose, some children learn. Treat the toys nicely, and maybe they'll treat you the same. Playing the game. Are you feeling any better, Valentine?
Much better, thank you.
Tempers are frayed, tempers are lost. Nobody stops to think of the cost.
But they tore my arm. Again.
Oh dear. Children who lose the temper will lose everything else in the end.
They're not playing the game, not playing fair, not with the doll, not with the pair. Thrown on the floor and neglected, and they were to blame. Playing the game. Please tell them, Mary Poppins.
Why don't you?
What's happened to all our toys?
Make them go small and get back in their box.
You've been mean to them and called them names. Now it's their turn. Some in the toys. Now is the time to tell of their woes, to tell of their
Crime, crime.
Come one, enter the fray. They need to hear what you have to say.
Those girls and boys. Those girls and boys. Treat us this way.
Treat us this way.
Don't deserve fun.
Don't deserve fun.
So why should we stay? They stamp and shout.
They stamp and shout, create such a fuss. They need to learn the value of us.
Well,
You think you know everything.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jane.
They're our toys and we'll do what we like with them. So there.
So there indeed. you, Bert.
Up where the smoke is all billowed and curled, between pavement and stars is the chimney sweep's world, where there's hardly no day, nor hardly no night. There's things half in shadows and halfways in light. On the rooftops of London, whew, what a sight!
Oh, so you're a sweep now, are you?
Best view in the world, eh? And who gets to see it? The birds, the stars, and the chimney sweeps. Nothing to beat it, eh? Now as the ladder of life has been strung, you may think a sweep's on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this whole wide world there's no happier bloke.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo. Good luck will rub off when he shakes hands with you.
Or blow me a kiss,
But
and that's lucky too. Oh, you going then?
the wind has changed.
But they're good kids, Mary.
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't?
So?
So, no one's as hard to teach as a child who won't listen. They're going to have to do this next bit on their own.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
When you're with the sweep, you're in glad company. Goodbye, Bert.
Chim chim, chim chim cheree. When you're with a sweep, you're in glad company. Nowhere is there a more happier crew than them's what sings chim chim cheree, chim cheroo. Chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
Cheerio, Bert! Keep an eye on them for me!
She can't have left us. Oh, yes, she can, and she's taken all our toys. What does the note say?
What in the name of heaven are you doing out here? Where's Mary Poppins?
She's gone.
Gone? Well, if that doesn't take the bloomin' biscuit.
Mrs. Brew, what does au revoir mean?
Why?
Because that's what she's written in this note. Dear Jane and Michael, keep playing the games. Au revoir, Mary Poppins.
It's French, I know that. Does it mean good luck or God bless you? Oh no, I remember now. Till we meet again. Now come inside before you catch your death.
Morning, Admiral.
Morning, birds. Lovely weather. Thank you, birds. Good day to you, Bert.
Mrs. Brill, is the nursery tidy?
As tidy as I can make it, ma'am.
If you knew how hard it was to track her down.
Really, ma'am? Fancy that. Call they get through nannies for a flippin' pastime now. And when returns, they make this fearful fuss. Never liked her much when she was here the last time.
At least she makes life easier for both of us.
Miss Brilliant is her, isn't it?
Well, I don't know who else.
Why is this such a secret? Do you think that she's returned to get things back the way they were?
The note says, till we meet again.
I just know it must be her. Oh my goodness, she'll be here any moment. George, dear, you're going to be surprised. Not this winter, George. I do believe you're going to be proud of me for once. Precision and order, it's perfectly true. Can really make a difference. I found her for you. Clear thinking, sound judgment, and now we'll regain a home you can be proud of on Cherry Tree Lane. Hurry up, everybody, into the hall. I want her to find everything. Spitter, spoke, spick and span. A sense of excitement is hard to contain. Order is returning. Order is returning. Someone is returning to Cherry Tree Lane.
Good morning.
Oh, the Holy Terror!
Miss Andrew, it was so lovely to meet you at last. I hope you had a good journey.
It was thoroughly unpleasant. I never enjoy travelling. You must be poor George's wife. Your flower beds are disgracefully untidy. Take my advice and plant evergreens, or better yet, have nothing there at all, just a plain cement courtyard.
But dear Miss Andrew, I am so fond of flowers.
Then you, dear, are a very silly woman. Where did George go?
I am afraid he had a very urgent appointment.
For which no doubt he was late to as usual. It's not much of a house, is it?
We like it.
Then it doesn't take much to keep you happy. Look at the dust. There and there. Filth!
We're rather short-staffed at the moment.
And hasn't anyone ever cleaned those curtains? Now, just a minute! You must be the children. Pity. I don't suppose you know who I am.
Yes, we do. You're the Holy Terror.
Impudent boy! And you're Jane, I suppose. Why aren't you wearing any stockings?
I don't like them.
Tut! What manners! I can see there's not a moment to lose. These children have been spoiled. I've arrived here just in time. By chance I brought the punishment that best befits the crime. Brimstone and treacle and cod liver oil, liberal doses of each. These are the treats from which children recoil, the lessons I'm going to teach. Just follow my model and don't muddy cuddle, it may lead the irksome to work. So seek satisfaction from punitive action. Brimstone and treacle will work. Open!
Does it taste as bad as it smells?
Worse!
Do I have
to? Open! Brimstone and treacle and carbolic soap, these are the tools of my trade. With spoonfuls of sugar, you don't have a hope of seeing that changes are made. When manners are chronic, my tincture's the tonic that's certain to wipe off a smirk. Just pour out a ration in matronly fashion. Brimstone and treacle will work. Your son will go to boarding school at once. And as for the girl, I shall take charge of her myself. I won't stand for whining, or whinging, or whimpering, crying, or lying, or sobbing, or simpering. I fear it's clear that in these two such bad habits lurk. First threaten to throttle, then uncork the bottle. Brimstone and Treacle will work. Show me to my room. Brimstone and Treacle will work.
You know, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm disappointed, I truly am. I really thought it was going to be the you-know-who with the umbrella.
What are we going to do now? The only thing we can't do. Run away!
Easy now. Your old friend ain't gonna hurt you.
Oh, Bert, it's you. You're filthy.
Perhaps a smudge or two. It just so happens today I'm a chimney sweep. So what's the matter? And who's after you?
The nastiest nanny in the world.
The nastiest nanny in the world, eh? Well, you two should know. You've been through enough of them. Is she really as bad as all that?
She looks like something that would eat its young.
Miss Andrew was Daddy's nanny.
Which explains a lot.
Poor Daddy. Ever since he stopped working, all he does is sits and mopes. Mary Poppins used to say he needed our help, but now it's too late.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I tell you what, why don't we start things off with a bit of a shake for good luck?
Why would shaking hands with you bring us luck?
Didn't anyone ever tell you it's good luck to shake a sweep's hand?
But what do you do if you want some luck?
Oh, well, I just shakes hands with myself. Now, what have we got here?
Michael, look, it's a real one. What's the matter? You've always wanted to fly a real kite.
I've always wanted to fly one with Daddy.
Of course you have, but you need to know how it's done. Get some training in, and you'll make him the proudest father in the country.
You really think so? You're not just saying that?
Did I say the country? The whole bloomin' empire, more like. Tuppence for paper and strings, you can have your own set of wings. With your feet on the ground, you're a bird in flight, with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite.
Try again.
You can do it.
This? What's this? We don't allow litter here.
It isn't litter, it's a kite.
A kite? Oh my word, it is. I haven't flown a kite since I was a boy. Now we'll wind her up, give her a run, and away she'll go.
I want to do it.
Now you'll let me help, won't you? Seeing as I haven't flown a kite since I was a boy.
Oh, all right.
When you send it flying up there, all at once you're lighter than air. You can dance on the breeze over houses and trees with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly
Poppins, it's been awful since you left. Miss Andrews come and Daddy's ruined and we didn't help him and we were too stupid.
My, your life's a tragedy. Now come along in and don't do our door.
But she's there. She came this morning as a surprise for Daddy.
Did she indeed? Well, perhaps I should be a surprise for her. That was a lovely greeting, Bert.
I meant it, Mary. Welcome. You're a sight for sore eyes.
You really are. Welcome back, Mary Poppins.
I told you they were good kids, Mary.
And I told you they were worth bothering with.
Well, you see here, it's actually against the regulations, coming out of the sky like that. And we're from. Where'd you come from, eh? I'd like to know.
If I were park keeper, I would straighten my coat and button my cap. Come along, children.
Aren't you going to shake hands with Bert for good luck?
No.
Why not? We have.
I don't need luck, thank you.
Illusions may shatter, but memories stay. The things that really matter, I lost on the way. The sovereign, the master, and long may he reign. The fame is good for nothing of Cherry Tree Lane.
Don't worry, ma'am. I'm sure they'll find their way home soon. I mean, let's face it, they've certainly had plenty of practice.
This time they're not being naughty. Afraid I made them unhappy. Afraid I made everyone unhappy.
I promise, they'll turn up.
George, dear, I know it hurts your pride, dear, but you can't just run and hide, dear. Why can't you see that I'm here and I am on your side? Whenever you spoke of Miss Andrew, you showered the woman with praise. And now that I've met dear Miss Andrew, there are one or two things I'd rephrase. To think you were raised by that monster and carried this burden through life. If only you had seen that you could share it with your wife. Being Mrs. Banks, it's easy to forget the way I felt that summer's day, the day that we first met. Being Mrs. Banks, being kissed by you, woman of dreams who made me feel that wishes could come true. And now, although you're lost, it's time that we closed ranks. I'll fight for the man
Perhaps she's killed everyone. Perhaps they're all dead.
You stupid boy!
Well, they're not all dead.
It's a caged bird. Did she? Well, frankly, that's not a surprise. Locked in this cage and not free in the skies for 2 years. How shameful! Yes, of course, that's a field I know well. And now would no longer your wings will grow stronger. Once you are free from the cell.
What kind of bird is it?
It is a lark. You are seeing a lark put in a cage for the first time and the last. My pleasure. Oh, don't mention it.
I'm going downstairs to fetch Caruso, my lark. You stay there and clean the grate again. I see you've decided to come crawling back, have you? I know exactly what's needed now. Where is it? Brimstone and Treacle, my favorite liquor. That will make runaway stop. Impudent children respond so much quicker when forced to drink every last drop.
Is this what you're looking for?
Who are you?
I'm Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins? But you left without notice.
And I've come back without notice.
I see. And what is it you expect me to do then?
Hack.
Pack! You insolent young woman! How dare you speak to me this way? Silly little girl with your newfangled methods. I bring up children so they know their place. Standing for tradition, I govern my charges.
Miss, and your charges blow up in your face.
I brought up their father.
Well, that I don't doubt. You must be so proud the way he turned out.
A shining example, a pillar,
a post. They all have their problems, but him more than more.
Caruso, where's my lark, Caruso? You let my little lark out of his cage. Now you will bear the full brunt of my rage. Brimstone and Treacle for you. Brimstone and Treacle
Just
for
a
you.
spoonful of sugar.
Brimstone and Treacle
Just
for
a
you.
spoonful of sugar.
Brimstone and Treacle
Just
for
a
you.
spoonful of sugar. Oh, 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 oh,
Mary Poppins, wherever did you come from?
She came from
Michael?
Oh, Michael Jane. You're very naughty to go running off like that, and I should be angry as anything. if I weren't so happy to see you. Now, where's Miss Andrew?
She's gone.
Gone? Why?
She didn't give a reason, Mum.
Mary Poppins, if you're back, are you going to stay?
Stay as long as necessary.
Because the last time you were here, you left without word of warning. How will I know you won't do that again?
You don't.
Oh?
Excuse me, Mom.
Constable, I'm so sorry to have bothered you, but they're back.
Not all of them, ma'am. Found this one wandering about the park. Good night, ma'am.
George.
Where is she?
Miss Andrew, she left.
Left? But how?
She might have thought we were rude.
Rude? To Miss Andrew? Well, I can't forgive it, but I'll try to forget. In fact, I'd give you a sixpence if I had one.
George, you haven't noticed Mary Poppins is back.
Is she? Well, Mary Poppins, I wonder if I might have a word? There's no point in beating about the bush. Things have not gone well for us since you left us
I was meaning to talk to you about my wages. I prefer to not have them now. I'd like to leave them accrue.
Mary Poppins, if only you knew how many payments were accruing as it is.
Is everything settled?
I believe so. Now I must get started again. Jane, Michael, Spitspot. Is Miss Brill cooking again, or is there a drainage pipe leaking?
Come along, darling. You made a mistake, but how bad is that? After so many years of good service, what's the worst that can happen?
Winifred, if I'm to be dismissed by the bank, then we'll be destitute. The servants will leave, the house will be repossessed, and we'll be forced outside on the frosty curbside with the children.
We'll have what really matters. The children and each other.
You're practically perfect in every way.
I guarantee.
Practically perfect. We hope you'll stay.
Let's wait and see.
Uncanny nannies are hard to find.
Unique yet meek, unspeakably kind.
Practically perfect.
And yet I'm sure there's still room for improvement. A few games more.
What's that?
A locket.
What's inside?
A portrait.
Whose?
You'll know when the time comes, and not before.
You will stay this time, won't you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay until the chain on my locket breaks.
What chain? Where?
My Michael, the house looks a bit excited to see me back. You never know what could happen in a fireplace.
Michael! Michael, come down!
Off we go!
A chimney swept, a secret kept, up here above the gables. Another world to be unfurled, it ain't just myth and fables. A chimney stack looks cold and black against the twilight sky. But never fear, there's warmth up here, perhaps you'll find out why. Where else should a chimney sweep be?
The world is awfully big, isn't it?
What does that tell you?
That we're awfully small and unimportant.
Oh, speak for yourself.
Not us, but our troubles. Down in the nursery they seem so big, but up here...
That's more like it. Troubles are never so bad when you look at them from a little higher up. And always remember, there's plenty of folk ready to help you should you need them.
Who?
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree. Now guardian angels you don't often see. They're not highfalutin, not grand nor aloof. Now they're covered in soot and they're upon your roof.
Chim chimney, chim chim cheree.
See? It's true. away the dirt and soot. Brush away your tears. Cobwebs that were swept away. Hang around for years. In all weathers up on ours, we can see for miles. Our idea of heaven is a night out on the town. We may look a motley crew, smart with tar and rhyme. But when you need a helping hand, we try to step in, just in time. We will step in time. We will step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. We will step in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Over the rooftop, step in time. Step in time. Watch your step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Watch me step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Kick your knees up, step in time.
Childhood is a step in time, parenthood's the same.
Never miss a chance to get it right. Don't it seem the perfect rhyme? Don't it seem a shame when the steps aren't going as smoothly as they might? That's when we step in time. That's when we step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. That's when we step in time. Link your elbow, step in time. Link your elbow, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Link your elbow, step in time. Link your elbow, step in time. Step in time, step in time. rooftop, step in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Never need a reason, never step in time. Link your elbow, step in time. Link your elbow, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Link your elbow, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Kick your knees up, step in time. Step in time.
Step, step, step,
Step in time.
step, step, step.
Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. If you kick your knees up, kick your knees up, kick your knees up, kick your knees up.
Step, 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 step.
Never need a reason, step in time. Down the chimney, step in time. Down the chimney, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Down the chimney, step in time. Step in time. Back to the nursery, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Back to the nursery, step in time.
What is this? What is all this? Special delivery?
Step in time. Special delivery, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Special delivery, step in time. Good night, Governor. Good night, Governor, step in time. Good night, Governor, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Good night, Governor, step in time.
Cheerio, Governor!
Not so fast! Upstairs now, Jane, you too! Mary Poppins, would you be so kind as to explain the meaning of all of this?
I'd like to make one thing clear.
Yes.
I never explain anything. Come along, children.
It's happened. The chairman wants to see me at the close of business tonight.
Tonight? Well, I'm going to go with you and give that chairman a piece of my mind.
No, that would only make matters worse. We might as well face it. In just a few short hours, I shall join the ranks of the unemployed.
George, are you sure?
Quite sure. In fact, we'd better start planning. I'm afraid the time has come.
You don't mean your mother's vase. Won't you miss it terribly?
Needs must, my dear. We always said we were saving it for a rainy day, and tomorrow it looks set to pour.
George, do be careful. Mrs. Brill, you better sit down. Let's go into the kitchen.
Oh, don't you start! I felt picked all the window!
I was only going to say that it smells delicious.
Oh, the whole world has gone upside down!
Why, I never. So that's where I put them.
What are they?
Stars. Gingerbread stars I hid once from my nanny. I always knew I put them somewhere no one would find them. Trouble was, I couldn't either.
They're very bright.
Aren't they? Even after all this time.
Here, let me give you a hand.
I used to dream about growing up and learning everything there was to know about the stars. Funny. I haven't thought about all that in years.
It's good to look back sometimes.
Is it? I'm not so sure. A man has dreams of walking with giants, to carve his knees in the edifice of time. Before the mortar of his zeal has the chance to congeal, the cup is dashed from his lips, the flame is snuffed to burning, he is brought to rack and ruin in his prime.
Life's a rum-go, Governor, and that's the truth.
It's Mary Poppins. Ever since she stepped foot into this house, things began to happen to me. My world was calm, well-ordered, exemplary. Then came this person with chaos in her wake. And now my life's ambitions go with one fell blow. It's quite a bitter pill to take. It's that Poppins woman. She's responsible for all this.
I know the very person. What's that thing she's always saying? A spoonful of sugar, that is all it takes. It changes bread and water into tea and cakes. A spoonful of sugar goes a long, long way. So have yourself a healthy helping every day.
A healthy helping of trouble, if you ask me.
It's like you always say, Governor. You've got to grind, grind, grind at that grindstone, while childhood slips like sand through a sieve. And all too soon they've up and grown, and then they've flown, and it's too late for you to give. Just that spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Well, good luck, Governor.
Thank you, Bert. And good luck to you, too.
Father,
What is it?
we've come to say goodnight.
Ah, yes. Good night.
Daddy, do you remember when we visited you at the bank?
Yes.
Well, we were each given our sixpence and told to spend them wisely.
That's excellent advice. That's exactly what you should do. So, what did you buy with them?
Nothing yet. We've kept them and decided to give them to you.
I suppose Mary Poppins put you up to this.
No, she hasn't said a word about it, but we know things have been hard for you lately, and we really haven't been much help.
So we thought a bit of extra cash might help loosen things up a little.
It's a whole shilling.
Thank you.
Good night, Daddy. We do love you, you know.
Jane, you remember you asked me who the father of Neleus was?
Yes.
It was Poseidon, king of the sea. Good night.
isn't he?
Yes, he is. But always remember that he loves you very much. And that's far more important than jobs or houses or anything else.
Are you going to the bank with him?
I wish I could, but I can't. If only there was someone to go with him, to stand up for him, to show them what he's really like inside.
Why can't he do that for himself?
Because he's a man, and a very proud one.
Then you must go.
I wish I could, but I'm afraid it just isn't possible.
Why?
Because I'm a woman.
Mary Poppins says anything is possible if you just step out of your own way.
Do you really believe that, Mary Poppins?
Anything can happen if you let it. Sometimes things are difficult, but you can bet it doesn't have to be so.
Changes can be made. You can move a mountain if you use a larger spade.
Anything can happen, it's a marvel.
You can be a butterfly or just a larval. Stretch your mind beyond fantastic. Dreams are made of strong elastic.
Take some sound advice and don't forget it.
Anything can happen if you let it.
Anything can happen if you let it. You won't know a challenge until you've met it.
No one does it for you.
No one but yourself. Vacillating violets get left up on the shelf. Anything can happen, just imagine.
That should be my epitaph. I wear the badge in honor of this world's free thinkers.
Those who see beyond their blinkers.
Jelly isn't jelly till you set it. Anything can happen if you let it.
If you reach for the stars, all you get are the stars. But we've found a whole new spin. If you reach for the heavens, you get the stars thrown in.
Feeds the birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Only tuppence a bag.
It would do me a great favor if you would kindly feed them for me.
Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Precision and order, paying one's debts, risking our investments, hedging our bets.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Banks is here.
In banks.
Trading in futures, jobs on the line.
Well, Banks, you turned out a scheme that was bound to make millions, and we want to know why.
Well, I'll tell you. I refused Mr. Von Hustler a loan at the bank because his scheme was hollow. It had no meaning outside the walls of a bank. Yes, he talked to me about assets and profits and growth, but he never mentioned anything about people. And I know that if a man talks about people, then as far as you're concerned, he's a washout, but I'm afraid I do value it. In short, what I'm trying to say is that George Banks Esquire has rediscovered the human race. And I apologize for ruining the bank, but I do not apologize for realizing that there are more important things in life than money.
Ruining the bank? Ruining the bank? My dear chap, you've saved our bacon. Haven't you heard? Von Hustler's scheme has ruined our rivals. You've kept us out of the biggest scandal since records began. We don't want your apologies. We're offering ours.
Oh, my word.
And another thing. Do you remember giving a loan to a fellow named Northbrook? Well, he's opening 2 new factories. And with the percentage you negotiated, we look set to make a fortune.
Oh, my word.
That's just it. We very much hope you'll tell us how you did it. Just give us the word. It'll be quite safe with us.
Give you the word? Give you the word? I'll give you the word, all right. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Oh, thank you, sir.
My word, Banks.
Thank you.
Oh, forgive him. It's not his fault. Oh, it's all because of his nanny, Miss Andrew.
The Holy Terror. She taught me everything I know.
Then now's our chance to forget it.
Yes, and if you want to fight about it, you've come to the right woman.
It's all right, darling. It's all right. I haven't lost them any money at all. In fact, I've made them a fortune.
Really?
Yes, ma'am, we still have some business to discuss. Okay. Banks, George, by way of recompense, we'd like to offer you a job as senior manager with a salary of double.
Exactly how much has he made for you?
Triple. Quadruple your current rate.
Close your mouth, George. We are not a codfish.
Well?
I accept, but you must understand one thing. From now on, my family comes first.
Agreed?
Agreed.
My dear, I'm afraid I've underestimated you. Can you possibly forgive me?
How can you ask?
Well, it was selfish of me to keep you off the stage, and you want to return, so I won't mind if you do.
No. I loved it, but I found a job I much rather prefer, and it's going to keep me busy for a long time.
Anything can happen, raise the curtain. Things you thought impossible will soon seem certain. Though at first it may sound clownish, see the world more upside downish. Turn it on its head and pirouette it. Anything can happen if you let it. If you reach for the stars, all you get are the stars. But we've found a whole new spin. If you reach for the heavens, you get the stars thrown in.
There are the stars. I want the constellations too. If you're asking for those, why don't you ask for the moon?
If you reach for
Mary Poppins, Neelys and Poseidon will live happily ever after, won't they?
Of course. Dear, one moment. I believe this belongs to you.
But it's your telescope.
And now it's yours. It's a gift.
Thank you.
You'll better go get inside. It's getting cold.
I love you, Mary Poppins.
You're a fine boy, Michael Banks, and one day you'll be a fine man.
Oh, Mary Poppins, it makes me so anxious when you talk like that.
Like what?
All gentle and kind. It's not a bit like you. Do be cross, Mary Poppins. Do be cross again.
Is that the thanks I get for dealing with you two?
That's better.
That's dainty, Bet.
They're yours, Mary. I painted them for you. It's tonight, isn't it?
I'm afraid so.
Well, goodbye then, Mary.
Goodbye, Bet. Look after yourself. With every job, when it's complete, there is a sense of bittersweet. That moment when you know the task is done. Though in your heart you'd like to stay, to have things on their way. You've always known they must do it alone. Practically perfect in every way, and I hope it remains so.
What's happened? Something's changed.
Look, it's the locket.
Remember, I'll stay till the chain breaks.
There's a note too.
What does it say?
Michael got the telescope, so this is for you. There's a picture of the three of us.
She signed it from Mary Poppins with a great deal of love.
She's gone.
Gone? How peculiar.
She'll be back. But what do you think of this?
It's the best I've seen.
Could we fly it together?
Oh, Daddy.
Mary Poppins won't be coming back. She's gone for good.
My dear, how could you possibly know such a thing?
Because we don't need her. Not anymore. And other families will. Right, Daddy?
They will.
I suppose she's right, George. We really could do without a nanny from now on. What do you think?
I think you should come dance with me.
George, this is serious.
Is that a shooting star?
You can borrow my telescope.
It is. Make a wish, children. My dearest love.
We won't forget you, Mary Poppins.
We'll never forget.